Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the next day of our daily creative challenge here on Adobe Live. Good to see everyone and thank you for sticking around for those slight technical difficulties. We are here, we are ready, and let's just jump straight into it. But first, let me know if you're watching for the first time so I can give you a shout out, say hello. This is a daily creative challenge that is running for all of this week and all of next week. So if you've ever wanted to learn Photoshop, if you've ever wanted to level up your Photoshop skills, this is the right place to be. So let me pop over to my screen really quick so I can show you how to register, and then we will get started. We will fire up our rocket ships and get going. What's up, Nick, Frank, hello, Kevin, Biola, always good to see you, friends. Hey, Jessica. Alrighty, so if you want to join us for this challenge, go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop and you can register by clicking this button. You can also subscribe to all future challenges by scrolling all the way down to the bottom and hitting subscribe right here. So I'll scroll back up and we can see that today we're going to be covering adjustment layers. Yes, we have talked about these a little bit earlier this week. We've used a few of them, but we're just going to do a deep dive today, a deep space dive, and talk about all the different kinds of adjustment layers you can do and blend modes and all kinds of good stuff. All right, let's pop over to Photoshop. Ta-da! So we are continuing with our drink label series. By the end of this challenge, we're gonna have a nice 6-pack or 9-pack, I guess. Maybe you can pick your 6 favorite and put those in your 6-pack of seltzers or shrub sodas or beers, whatever you're wanting to design. I'm doing a little shrub seltzer, a little vinegary treat. I know that's not for everyone. Not everyone likes a good shrub soda, but I'm a big fan. What's up, Bruce? Good to see you. So if you want to join me using this mockup, you can do so by clicking that Get Started button over here. Get started, and that will take you to some Creative Cloud files, including the mockup and all of the Adobe stock images I'm going to be using today. They are the preview, so they're going to have a watermark, but you can license them yourself on Adobe stock, or you can use your own images. Totally up to you. All right, so if you have your Can mockup open, you're going to open up the design folder, and you're going to double click this thumbnail right here. That's going to take you into our editing space. It says put your design here. It's pretty simple. Double click into that. I actually already have it open over here. Turn these off, and there you go. So I'm going to show you how to layer multiple images on top of each other, tweak the values of an image pretty quickly and easily to make it match, and then we are going to be saving it out on this mockup. Can you please share the font Beastly on Discord? Rohini, you'll be able to get it if you open up that Can mockup. It's included in there, but if not, you can also, let's go here, open up your fonts panel within Photoshop, and you can click more from Adobe Fonts, this little Creative Cloud icon right here. That will take you to fonts.adobe.com, and there you can search Beastly and then activate it within your Creative Cloud subscription. What's up from Brazil? Hello, good to see you. Okay, so for now, as we're getting started, I'm just going to turn off the visibility of all of these layers because we do not need to see the drink info. We just want to make our cool design. Turn off, turn off, turn off. There we go. Okay, so I've already added my spaceship to my canvas. And the first thing I want to do is I want to remove the background of this. There's a lot of ways that we can remove backgrounds in Photoshop. It's kind of what Photoshop is best at. So we're going to come over to here. I was like, where did my toolbar go? It's right in front of my face. We're going to long press on our quick selection tool, and I'm going to select object selection tool. And that's going to let me, with one click, select my spaceship and my clouds and deselect the background. Let's see how well this works. So with my spaceship layer selected, I'm going to drag out a marquee around the object that I want to select, the clouds, or I guess the smoke, and the spaceship. Do a little bit of Photoshop magic. It's thinking, it's thinking. What's up, Fairy? Hello. Good to see you. And Holly, hi. And it did a pretty good job. Not totally perfect. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and we can see where we still need to add to our selection here. So let's go ahead and do that. There's a couple different ways. As always, we could go into select and mask. That will allow us to refine the edges, or we can just long press on our object selection tool, go back to quick selection, You can always do Shift W. W is the hotkey for this tool set. And if I do Shift W, you'll see over on the left in my toolbar, it's cycling through all of those quick selection tools. So with my quick selection tool selected and increasing the size of my cursor with my bracket keys, I'm going to make sure that this add to selection option is selected. So many words, so many instances of the word selection in this live stream. We need to have a counter in the bottom of the screen. So make sure that is selected so that when we click, we're adding to the selection instead of making a new selection or subtracting from it. So that looks pretty good. That went a little bit too far out, so I'm going to go to my subtract from selection option up here at the top. Click. I'm going to click enhance edge just so we have a nice clean edge. Make my brush a little bit smaller with my left bracket key. And there we go. Looks pretty good. I can also go into my lasso tool if I want to be a little bit more precise with it. And I'm going to subtract from selection, and it's here where I could maybe smooth this out just a tad. I can come down here. I feel like everyone has a favorite way of selecting in Photoshop. Let me know what your favorite is. I think quick selection and the polygonal lasso tool are my favorite. Depends what I'm doing. That's usually what I go for. All right, let's go back to quick selection, subtract from selection, get rid of this little area in here. And there we go. We have our spaceship selected. So let's erase the sky. We're not going to replace the sky. We're just going to erase it. So with my rocket layer selected, let's click our layer mask button down here at the bottom. Whoa, of our layers panel. It looks like that. Click it. Maybe. There we go. And it's going to basically hide the sky. The sky is still there if we need it, but it is hiding right now. Quick selection for sure. Nice, Sam. It's just so quick, as they say. Fairy says, maybe I will make a crazy collage for this challenge. Fairy, please do. I don't know if we have a collage specific challenge coming up next week or anything, so if you want to do it, you should do it now. Alrighty, so first step is done. We have our rocket ship and we've removed the background. Now let's work with some blend modes. So I have this beautiful nebula or picture of outer space here, and I want to lay it on top of my rocket ship so that it looks like the smoke is made of stars. Pretty cool, pretty out there. First thing I want to do is use my transform tools with my move tool, drag this down and increase the size so that all of those colorful, like starbursty, milky areas are laying over my smoke. Now it's hard to see what we're doing because it's laying on top of our rocket ship and there's no transparency here. So let's change that with a blend mode. If you're familiar with Photoshop at all, you've probably used blend modes before, but if not, they're a total game changer. This changes how different layers interact with each other. So say, for example, you go to multiply, that's going to take out all of the light pixels from your work and leave all of the dark ones. Or maybe it's the other way around. You can get a live preview in any case of all of your different options. Lighten is actually what we're going to go for. But first, let's just do a quick scroll through to see how these work together. Changing the blend modes of a layer is like the quickest way to make a double exposure image. You just lay an image on top, change the blend mode, and boom, you have a nice double exposure. So let's go back to lighten. And from here, I'm going to use my move tool again to kind of move where I have this going on, finagle it in the perfect position, maybe increase the size a bit, and that looks good. So before we do anything else, I'm going to change my background color to black just so we can mock it up a little bit closer to how this is going to look at the end. Perfect. And you'll see when I do that, we can still see this nebula stuff up here. So let's go ahead and mask that really quickly. What's up, Dizzy? Good to see you. I agree, Randall. Live previews would be so useful in the Illustrator blend modes. I know, I agree. So let's get rid of this top area of the nebula by doing a quick little mask. Down here in our layer mask options, click that, that creates a mask. And then I'm going to go to my brush tool. I'm I'm gonna choose a soft round brush. So by, excuse me, by default, the brush is just a round brush with a hard edge. So it would look like that. So just bring the hardness down to like 0 and you have a nice soft brush. I'm gonna increase my size. Make sure you're painting with black to hide your pixels. And we're just gonna paint away most of this. I like how like right here, it's kind of bleeding over the edge a little bit like a spray of stars. So I think that looks pretty good. Now let's blend the bottom, this harsh edge here, so that it melds into the stars, into the smoke for a really cool effect. So we're gonna go back to our rocket layer. I'm gonna select the mask there. So see how you can highlight either the mask or the layer thumbnail. Make sure the mask is focused or highlighted. And we're gonna use black. Black is the foreground color over here to hide the bottom of this cloud. Cool, so we've got our double exposure pretty much done. Now let's talk about adjustment layers a little bit. Adjustment layers can all be found here. It's like a little half moon icon, semicircle. And that is where all of your fill layers and adjustment layers are. So we've talked about fill layers a little bit. We talked about gradients and patterns. And that's what this background color shape is. It's just a solid fill layer, and that allows you to quickly on the fly fill your entire canvas with something. For example, I could go to gradient, make one of those, and that will fill my entire canvas with a gradient that I can also change on the fly. Don't need to do that right now. What we do need to do is go back to our rocket ship layer, go back to our adjustment layers, and choose levels. Now you'll see that it makes a new layer, an adjustment layer. You can see it's an adjustment layer because it has this. It shows that yes, we can adjust this layer. And over here in our properties panel, let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. We can change our levels of this layer. So if I go on the middle slider and slide it to the right, it makes it a little more moody, higher contrast with more darkness. To the left, it adds more white to the image. Let's keep that in the center. Let's see what these left and right options do. So that adds a little more exposure to the lightness. So what I want to do is basically just not overexpose, but up the exposure of this entire layer just a tad so that we get all of the details from our rocket ship. If I turn my adjustment layer on and off, you'll see that it just makes a slight change, but you can make huge changes with adjustment layers, but this is just a small tweak that I wanted to make. Okay, looks pretty good. The last thing we want to do is add this space texture that I included in the starter files to the background. So if I increase the size, we have a cool like collage look. This looks like it was just cut and pasted all together, but I want to blend this into the background just a bit, so we're going to use a blend mode. You got that right. Thank you. Somebody in the YouTube chat liked my hue adjustment and huge adjustment joke. By the way, if you're watching over on YouTube, come over to Behance because that's where I have the chat nice and big and I can see what y'all are saying. Okay, so I like this placement. Let's change the blend mode right here. So what we want to do is keep the light pixels and remove the dark ones. So let's go through a preview of all of these and see which one does that well. Hard light does a pretty good job. I think pin light might be a good option too. Yeah, linear light and pin light are pretty good. Since this is a grayscale layer, there's no color on this old school nebula background. A lot of the layer or blend options might look the same because there's only two types of values, the light and the dark. We'll do pin light, and I'm just gonna decrease my fill just a tiny bit. So we keep some of the details, but it's just not so in your face, and we can focus on the rocket ship and the smoke and the nebula. Okay, so we have a pretty cool double exposure photo composite going on. I know Roseanne blend modes are the best. They just change everything. I agree. Tongue twister incoming, oh my gosh. Live streams are not the best place to try out new tongue twisters. It can be pretty embarrassing. Okay, so let's turn back on our label options. The drink name, the size of the drink, the shape, And you'll notice that I designed all of my work above my text layers in the layer stack. They're up here when they should be down here. So I'm just going to select the bottom of my design, hold shift and select the top, and that's going to select all of the layers in between. And I'm just going to drag it down so that it is below my Final Frontier fruit punch. And now I can really see how it plays with this wavy design that's a part of all of my can designs. So now I can use my move tool with all of my layers still selected and just nudge this up a little bit. Maybe a little bit more perhaps. I really want to get that nebula in there. And we can break our brand rules just a little bit and scooch this down a tinge. And maybe move our size up a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna save this and let's see how it looks in our mockup. Remember, that's how we update smart objects in mockups. You just go to File, Save. It might think for a second because we made quite a few changes. And then we'll go back to our mockup, and there you go. There it is, very cool, our Final Frontier fruit punch. Love it. I do realize though that I did not add my scratchy texture that I add to everything. So I think I might have it in my library. It's super helpful to have your CC libraries available within Photoshop, because I can just drag images that I've gotten from Adobe Stock in. Let's go back to my layers, put it on top of everything, change the blend mode. I think I want divide. Nope, definitely not divide. That looks pretty cool. Exclusion. I like that. So now we only have the light values from our noisy texture. So it's only bringing those white scratches out and it's putting back the black background. We'll go to File, Save. Yes, Votre Image. Is this from Adobe Stock? It is. So this is a free template from Adobe Stock that was all written in French. So I edited it, put it into English, and took some things away so it's a little more streamlined. But yes, this is originally a French template free in Adobe Stock. Miranda says, I love learning more about blend modes and adjustment layers. They used to intimidate me, but the more I watch the DCCs, the more comfortable I feel using them. Yes, Miranda, that's awesome. The beautiful thing about changing a blend mode or adding an adjustment layer is that you can undo it super easily. You can just turn off the visibility of the layer. You can delete it. It's not going to hurt the rest of your design. Very friendly to beginners. Okay, let's do a quick export of this, put it onto Discord, see what y'all think about it, and then we can get it uploaded onto Behance so that we have our nice, beautiful project finished by the end of these 2 weeks. So I can't believe tomorrow's Friday. That's the end of our first week. Today's day 3, I think. Yep, that makes sense. We will do day 3, double exposure. So that means we're gonna have the weekend off of DCCs. You have time to catch up if you need to. And then I will be back on Monday morning, again at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. The AM and PM always get me mixed up. For another challenge. So you have the whole weekend to work on the first 3 days, finesse things, maybe get a little bit of feedback on Discord, and then you can jump back in on Monday. Double exposure. Pretty happy with this one, but would love to know your thoughts, There you go. That's how you upload your work to get feedback over here on Discord in the feedback challenge channel. And if you want to join us on Discord, I'll show you how really quick. Just go to bit.ly/PS Discord, capital P, capital S. Ignore this little black thing that's down there. It'll take you to an invite link, and then you can join us 24/7 within Discord to get feedback, to ask career questions, to learn how to Discord, all kinds of stuff. And you can always come over here to see who's online to ask questions directly. We got Adobe folks in here, mentors in here that are providing feedback as well. Cool. Make sense, everybody? So don't forget to upload these onto Behance if you need to. Let's go ahead and do that on my portfolio. I've got my project going already. We have our cover image that I haven't updated yet. I'm just gonna edit my project, add an image. I don't think I added yesterday's image in either, so let's do that really quick. We did day 2. Okie dokie. Let's find where my files are. There we go. Somebody is whistling upstairs. And ta-da! So we have this definite intergalactic galaxy theme going on with my shrub seltzers. I'm excited to see what you all have for your themes as well. Or maybe you're not going for a theme. Maybe you're going for more of a variety pack. That is totally up to you. Totally up to you. So this is uploaded. There we go. Update my project. It will save, and then we can take a peek at it. Nice. You'll notice on this one that I changed my stroke around Final Frontier Fruit Punch to be a gradient stroke. So you can do that pretty easily within this mock-up by double-clicking on your stroke, and instead of a solid color fill type, just go down here to gradient. We could even do a pattern if we wanted to, and we can choose that checkerboard pattern, but that's a little bit hard to see. So we'll just go back to gradient. And that just gives things a little bit more depth. Pretty cool. Yes, the typeface is called Beastly. You can use whatever typeface you want though from Adobe Fonts. We're actually going to be talking about typefaces, I think, tomorrow. Typefaces and clipping masks, so make sure you come back for that. And I think it is time for me to get out of here. So make sure you stick around for more Adobe Live coming up right after me. We've got streaming all day, pretty much every day. And I'll be back tomorrow with day 4 of our challenge for Photoshop. I'm so proud of you guys. You're already learning so much and you're posting such cool work on Discord. So keep it up, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.